This is Miss Holloway with Unit 3, Day 3, variables on both sides. Bell ringer. Solve and check your solution. 4 times 6x minus 5 minus 6 equals negative 2. The first thing you need to do is distribute your 4 into your parentheses. So 4 times 6x, I got to turn my pen on, sorry. 4 times 6x equals 24x. 4 times negative 5 equals negative 20. Minus 6 equals negative 2. Going to combine like terms. Negative 20 minus 6 equals negative 26. So I have 24x minus 26 equals negative 2. The first number I want to get rid of is the number that is not attached to the variable, which would be negative 26. So the opposite of subtracting is addition. So I'm going to add 26 to both sides. Negative 26 plus 26 gives me 0. Negative 2 plus 26 gives me 24. Equals 24x To get the 24 away from the x, I'm going to divide by 24. X equals 24 divided by 24 is 1. To check my problem, four times 6 times 1 minus 5 minus 6 equals negative 2. I'm going to do my parentheses first. 6 times 1 is 6. 6 minus 5 is 1. So I got 4 times 1 minus 6 equals negative 2. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 minus 6 equals negative 2. 4 minus 6 equals negative 2 equals negative 2. My answer checks out. So x equals negative 1. Number 2, what is 6% of 3 times 10 to the 14th? Answer in scientific notation. So the first thing you need to do is put your answer in scientific notation. Second, DRG, go to SCI, hit enter, and you're now in scientific notation. To find 6% of 3 times 10 to the 14th, you need to know that 6% is also 0.06, okay? So if I want to find, that's 6%, so 3 times 10 raised to the 14th times 0.06, and you get 1.8 times 10 to the 13th. So the equation would be 3 times 10 to the 14th times 0.06. Number 3, multiply negative 4th raised to the negative 6th power times 4 to the 3rd power. When multiplying with a negative and a positive, it's going to equal your negative. So we're going to keep our base, so it's going to be negative 4. Then we'll multiply and we'll add our exponents, so negative 6 plus 3, which equals negative 4 to the 3rd. We do not want a negative exponent, so I'm going to flip it to be 1 over negative 4 to the 3rd. And you can simplify that to be 1 over negative 64. Because negative 4 raised to the 3rd power would be negative 64. Number 4, divide 3 squared, divide by 3, negative 1. First thing you want to do, you can subtract. You can leave them just like it is. And you can do 3 minus negative 1, or 2 minus negative 1, which gives you 3. So keep your base and you subtract your exponent. So 2 minus negative 1, which equals 3 to the third. Or you could flip your negative to the top to get 3 squared times 3 to the first. Keep your base, add your exponents. 2 plus 1 equals 3 to the third. Solving equations with variables on both sides. Steps to follow. You need to fill in the blanks on these. Number 1, distribute. Number 2, like terms. Number 3, collect variables to one side. And number 4, solve. Make sure you pause the video to make sure you write down all the steps. Okay. Number 1, negative 3x equals 2x plus 20. Now look at my steps. Do I need to distribute? No. Do I have like terms on one side of the equation? No. And I'm going to collect my variables to one side. Step number 3. Since my negative 3x is by itself on the left side, I'm going to move my positive 2x with it. So it's a positive 2x. To get rid of a positive number, you're going to subtract. So minus 2x minus 2x. So negative 3 minus 2 equals negative 5x equals 20. To get the x by itself, I'm going to divide by negative 5 because negative 5 and x are being multiplied together. Negative 5 divided by negative 5 equals 1. 20 divided by negative 5 equals negative 4. To check my problem, you're going to put negative 4 in place of my x. So negative 3 times negative 4 equals 2 times negative 4 plus 20. Negative 3 times negative 4 equals 12. 2 times negative 4 equals negative 8 plus 20. Finger 12 down here. Negative 8 plus 20 equals 12. Both sides of my equation equals the same number, 12, so x equals negative 4. Number 2, 5y minus 14 equals 2y minus 2. Looking back at my steps, do I need to distribute? No. Number 2, like terms. I have no like terms on either side of the equal sign that I need to combine. 3, collect variables to one side. Yes, I need to collect variables to one side. I'm going to move my 2y with my 5y by subtracting. Okay? You can move your 5y over to your 2y. Either way is correct. I try to keep as much positive as I can. Okay? And I like my variable on my left side. So 2y minus 2y gives me 0. 5y minus 2y gives me 3y. So I got 3y minus 14 equals negative 2. I now want to move my negative 14 over to my negative 2. Opposite of subtraction is addition, so I'm going to add 14 to both sides. 3y equals, so that'd be 0. Negative 2 plus 14, which is 12. 3 and y being multiplied, I'm going to divide by 3 to get rid of my 3, to get y by itself. Y equals 12 divided by 3 equals 4. Now to check. 5 times 4, we'll replace 4 with y with 4, minus 14 equals 2 times 4 minus 2. 5 times 4 equals 20, minus 14, and 20 minus 14 equals 6. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 minus 2 equals 6. My answer, both sides of the equal sign are equal, so my answer, my unknown variable y equals 4. Number 3, r equals negative 5r plus 18. I don't need to distribute. I don't need to collect like terms on either side of the equation, but I do need to collect variables to one side. Since r is by itself on my left-hand side, I'm going to leave r there, and I'm going to move the negative 5r over to the left-hand side to join it. Okay, so negative 5 times r, to get rid of it, I'm going to add 5r to both sides. 1r plus 5r equals 6r equals 18. To get r by itself, I'm going to divide by 6. 18 divided by 6 equals 3. To check my problem, so r is 3, so there's nothing I need to do on the left-hand side. Negative 5 times 3 plus 18. Bring my 3 down. Negative 5 times 3 gives me negative 15 plus 18. Negative 15 plus 18 equals 3. My answer checks out. R equals 3. Number 4, 9a plus 2 equals 4a minus 18. I don't need to distribute. I don't have like terms I need to combine, but I do need to collect the variables to one side. I'm going to move 4a with 9a. And since 4a is positive, I'm going to subtract 4a from both sides. So 4a minus 4a is 0, so that gives me negative 18 on the right-hand side. 9a minus 4a equals 5a plus 2. Now I'm going to move my positive 2 over with my negative 18, so I'm going to subtract 2 to both sides. Negative 18 minus 2 gives me negative 20, so 5a equals negative 20. I'm going to divide by 5 to get a by itself. A equals negative 20 divided by 5 equals negative 4. To check my problem, I'm going to take negative 4 and replace it for all my a's in my equation. 9 times negative 4 plus 2 equals 4 times negative 4 minus 18. 9 times negative 4 equals negative 36 plus 2. Negative 36 plus 2 equals negative 34. 4 times negative 4 equals negative 16 minus 18. Negative 16 minus 18 equals negative 34. My answer checks out. A equals negative 4. Number 5. 2 times x minus 3 plus 3 equals 6x minus 5. Look at my steps to follow. Distribute. Yes, I have to distribute here. I have to distribute my 2 into my parentheses. So 2 times x gives me 2x. 2 times negative 3 gives me negative 6 plus 3 equals 6x minus 5. Now I need to combine like terms. Negative 6 plus 3 gives me negative 3, so 2x minus 3 equals 6x minus 5. This time, I'm going to bring my 2x from the left to the right. So I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. So I have negative 3 equals 6x minus 2x, which is 4x, minus 5. To get the x by itself, I'm going to get rid of the negative 5. To get rid of the negative 5, I'm going to add it to both sides. Negative 5 plus 5 gives me 0. Negative 3 plus 5 gives me positive 2 equals 4x. Divide both sides by 4. Be 2/4 will be 1/2, but I'm going to use that as the decimal, so I'm going to use 0.5. So 2 divided by 4 equals 0.5. I use a decimal because the decimal is easier to put in your calculator when checking your answer. Check. So 2 times 0.5 minus 3 plus 3 equals 6 times 0.5 minus 5. There's two ways you can do this. You can distribute your 2 into your parentheses first, or you can do your parentheses first. I'm going to do my parentheses first. Okay, so I have 0.5 minus 3 gives me 2 times negative 2.5 plus 3 equals 6 times 0.5 times 6 times 0.5 minus 5. Okay? Negative 2.5 times 2 gives me negative 5 plus 3. So negative 5 plus 3 gives me negative 2. 6 times 0.5 is 3. 3 minus 5 equals negative 2. My problem checks out. 0.5 equals x. Number 6. 3 times x minus 5 minus 5x equals negative 25 plus 6x. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute. I'm going to distribute my 3 into my parentheses. So 3 times x equals 3x. 3 times negative 5 equals negative 15. Minus 5x equals negative 25 plus 6x. And we'll look for combined like terms. Yes, I need to combine like terms on this one. So 3x minus 5x gives me negative 2x minus 15 equals negative 25 plus 6x. I'm going to move my x from my left-hand side to my right-hand side. So I'm going to add 2x because it's negative. I'm going to add to get rid of it to both sides. So now I have negative 15 equals negative 25 plus 8x, because 6x plus 2x equals 8x. I'm going to add 25 to both sides to get the 8x by itself. So negative 15 plus 25 equals 10 equals 8x. To get x by itself, I'm going to divide by 8. 8 divided by 8 is 1. 10 divided by 8 equals 1.25. Okay? Put it as a decimal to help me when I'm checking my problem. Okay? So now we'll move that over so I have a little bit more room to check it. okay? So 3 times 1.25 minus 5 minus 5 times 1.25. I want to move it over some more to give me more room. Equals negative 25 plus 6 times 1.25. Okay. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to deal with my parentheses. So 1.25 minus 5 equals 3 times negative 3.75. And then negative 5 times 1.25 gives me negative 6.25 equals negative 25. 6 times 1.25 plus positive 7.5. Okay? Now, 3 times negative 3.75 equals negative 11.25 minus 6.25 equals negative 25 plus 7.5. So negative 11.25 minus 6.25 gives me negative 17.5. Negative 25 plus 7.5 gives me equals negative 17.5. My answer checks out. So x equals 1.25. Number 7, negative 5 times x minus 2 equals negative 25. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute. Negative 5 times x gives me negative 5x. Negative 5 times negative 2 gives me a positive 10, because remember, a negative times a negative equals a positive, equals negative 25. Since my variable is already on one side, I'm going to have to move my non-variable number over. So it's a positive 10. To get rid of a positive 10, I'm going to subtract 10 from both sides. So negative 5x equals negative 25 minus 10, which is negative 35. To get the x by itself, I'm going to divide by 5, divide by negative 5, excuse me. So x equals negative 35 divided by 5 equals positive 7. Remember, the negatives cross each other out. So I'm going to check my problem. Negative 5 times 7 minus 2 equals negative 25. 7 minus 2 equals 5. Negative 25. Negative 5 times 5 is negative 25 equals negative 25. My answer checks out. X equals positive 7. Number 8, 3 minus x minus 3 equals 25. We're going to distribute a negative coefficient to solve. So in front of my parentheses, we're going to put a 1 here, okay? Because we have an imaginary 1 after our minus sign. So it'd be 3 negative 1 times x, so it'd be negative x, negative 1 times negative 3 gives me a positive 3 equals 25. So combine like terms, I got 3 plus 3, which is 6, minus x equals 25. Move my 6 from my left-hand side to my right-hand side by subtracting. 6 minus 6 is 0. 25 minus 6 equals 5 minus 6 equals 19. So I have negative x equals positive 19. I have a negative sign right here. So to subtract the negative sign, I'm going to act like there's a 1 here. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 1. 19 divided by negative 1 equals negative 19. To check my problem, we'll fill in negative 19 with x, so 3 minus negative 19 minus 3 equals 25. Negative 19 minus 3 equals negative 22 equals 25. 3 minus a negative number, it makes it a positive, so 3 plus 22 equals 25. 3 plus 22 equals 25. X equals negative 19 is your answer. Distributed property on both sides of an equation. So for number 9, 1/4 times x plus 3 equals 1/2 times x plus 2. So I got to distribute my fractions on both sides of the equation. So 1/4 times x gives me 1/4 x. 1/4 times 3 gives me positive 3/4 equals 1/2 times x gives me 1/2 x. 1/2 times 2 gives me positive 1. So I've distributed. Now I'm going to collect the variables to one side. I am going to move my 1/4 to my right-hand side. So I'm going to subtract 1/4 x from both sides. So that's a 0. So I have 3/4 equals 1/2 minus 1/4 is 1/4 x plus 1. I'm going to move my 1 over. So 3/4, so 3 ABC 4 minus 1 equals negative negative 1/4. So negative 1/4 equals 1/4 x. Divide by 1/4, be 1, by 1/4. So negative 1/4 divided by 1/4 gives me negative 1 equals x. I'm going to check my problem. One-4 times negative 1 plus 3 equals 1/2 times negative 1 plus 2. I'm going to do my parentheses first. So negative 4 times negative 1 plus 3 equals 2. 1/2 times negative 1 plus 2 is 1. So 1/4, 1 ABC 4 times 2 gives me 1/2. 1/2 times 1 gives me 1/2. My answer checks out. X equals negative 1. Distributed property on both sides of an equation. Negative 3 times negative 7 minus x equals 1/2 times x plus 2. Distribute my negative 3 into my parentheses. So negative 3 times negative 7 gives me positive 21. Negative 3 times negative x gives me positive 3x equals 1/2 times x gives me 1/2 x. 1/2 times 2 gives me positive 1. I'm going to move my 1/2 to my left-hand side. So 1/2 x minus 1/2 x gives me 0, minus 1/2 x. So I have 21. Then 3 minus 0.5 is positive 2.5x equals 1. move my positive 21 to my right-hand side by subtracting. So 21 minus 21 gives me 0. Minus 21 here. So 2.5x equals 1 minus 21 equals negative 20. Divide both sides by 2.5. 2.5 divided by 2.5 gives me 1. Negative 20 divided by 2.5 gives me 8. So x equals negative 8. Don't forget that negative. Now to check it. Negative 3 times negative 7 minus negative 8 equals 1/2 times negative 8 plus 2. So negative 7 minus negative 8, I'm going to do my parentheses first, equals negative 3 times 1, which equals negative 3. Negative 8 plus 2 equals 1/2 times negative 6. So negative 6 times 0.5, or 1/2, equals negative 3. My answer checks out. X equals negative 8. Sorry. Number 11. Solve, show all work. 28 minus 3x plus 4 equals 2 times x plus 6 plus 6. I'm going to distribute first. I have a coefficient here of 1, so I'm going to distribute my negative 1 into my parentheses. So I have 28. Then negative 1 times 3x gives me negative 3x. Negative 1 times positive 4 gives me 4 equals 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 6 is 12 plus 6. Now I'm going to collect like terms. 28 minus 4 equals 24 minus 3x equals 12 plus 6 equals 18. I'm going to add my 3x here to collect my variables on one side. So I have 24 equals 2x plus 3 equals 5x plus 18. Now I'm going to move my 18 over to my left-hand side by subtracting. Minus 18, 24 minus 18 equals 6. Six equals 5x divided by 5. 6 divided by 5 equals 1.2 equals x. Now to solve it, to check it. Okay, I have 28 minus 3 times 1.2 plus 4 equals 2 times 1.2 plus 6 plus 6. So I'm going to do my parentheses first. I have 28 minus 3 times 1.2 plus 4 gives me 7.6 minus 7.6 equals 1.2 plus 6 equals 2 times 7.2 plus 6. 28 minus 7.6 gives me 20.4. 2 times 7.2 equals 14.4 plus 6 gives me 20.4. My problem checks out, so my answer is 1.2 equals x. What is the solution to the equation? Number 12, 3 times x plus 2 equals 2 times x plus 5. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute. 3 times x equals 3x. 3 times 2 equals 6, so plus 6 equals 2 times x equals 2x. 2 times 5 equals 10. Going to collect my no like terms. Need to collect, so I'm going to collect my variables to one side. I'm going to move my 2x over to my 3x by subtracting. 2x minus 2x equals 0, minus 2x, so 3x minus 2x equals x, plus 6 equals 10. Move my 6 with my 10 by subtracting, because it's positive, so 6 minus 6 is 0. 10 minus 6 equals 4, so x equals 4. Go and check it. Three times 4 plus 2 equals 2 times 4 plus 5. 3 times 4 plus 2 is 6 equals 4 plus 5 equals 9. 3 times 6 equals 18. 2 times 9 equals 18. My answer checks out. X equals 4. Number 13. 0.6 times x plus 2 equals 0.55 times 2x plus 3. Okay, I'm going to distribute. So 0.6 times x gives me 0.6x. 0.6 times 2, 0.6 times 2 is 1.2. 0.55 times 2x, so 0.55 times 2 equals 1.1x. And then 0.55 times 3 is positive 1.65. I'm going to collect my variables on one side. I am going to move my 0.6x over to my right-hand side by subtracting because it's positive. So 1.1 minus 0.6 equals 0.5x plus 1.65 equals 1.2. Now I'm going to move my 1.65 over to my 1.2 by subtracting because it's positive. 1.65 minus 1.65 gives me 0, minus 1.65. 1.2 minus 1.65 equals negative 0.45 equals 0.5x. Divide by 0.5, 0.5. So negative 0.5 divided by 0.5 equals negative 0.9 equals x. To check it, .6 times negative 0.9 plus 2 equals 0.55 times 2 times negative 0.9 plus 3. I'm going to work with my left-hand side first. So I have negative 0.9 plus 2, which is 1.1, so 0.6 times 1.1 equals 1.1 times 0.6 is 0.66. I'm going to work on my right-hand side now. So 2 times negative 0.9 equals 1.8 plus 3 is 1.2 times 0.55 equals 0.66. It checks out. So my answer is negative 0.9 equals x. We're skipping this slide. We'll come back at a later time. Solve. Show all working, check. Number 15, the squares are identical. What is the area of each square? Since my squares are identical, I'm going to set up an equation where each square is going to equal each other. Okay, so I have 3x plus 7 equals 5x plus 1. I don't need to distribute. I have no like terms to collect, so I'm going to collect my variables from one side. I'm going to move my 3x over 3x minus 3x equals 0. So I have 7 over here. 5x minus 3x equals 2x plus 1. I want to move my 1 with my 7, so I'm going to subtract it because it's positive. 1 minus 1 is 0. Minus 1. 7 minus 1 is 6 equals 2x. Divide by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3 equals x. Okay. Now to find the area, I got to find out what each side is for each square. So this is square number 1 and square number 2. Square number 1. 3 times 3 plus 7. 3 times 3 is 9 plus 7 is 16. So one side equals 16. So length times width to find area would be 16 times 16, which would be 256. With these squares being identical, square number 1 is 256 area, so should square number 2, but we're going to check it just to make sure. So 5 times 3 plus 1, so 5 times 3 plus 1 equals 16. So the sides equal 16, so 16 times 16 equals 256. So area equals 256. Number 16, the value of the perimeter of the figure is equal to the value of the area. Find x. So I know my perimeter would be 3 plus x plus 3 plus x, which equals my area, which would be 3 times x. So that would be 3x. Combine like terms, 3 plus 3 equals 6. X plus equals 2x. And since my 3x is over here, I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. 3x minus 2x equals x. 6 equals x. Now I can check it. 3 plus 6 plus 3 plus 6 equals 3 times 6. That's 18. My calculator put 3 plus 6 plus 3 plus 6 equals 18. Both, it checks out, so 6 equals x.